You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
Freddie wins.
Unfiltered. Tonight, about the elections coming up. Election 2023 here in the city of Yonkers. Tonight, another candidates forum. Who attended, who did not attend. Let's discuss politics again. Freddie Vasquez is always going to be here because that's what I do. Good evening. I appreciate you folks who support. Thank you to everyone who shows concern for me. I appreciate you guys. You know, a lot of people here in the city of Yonkers, who support the show, support me, show genuine concern for me, and they always reach out when things happen. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. It really does mean something to me. And your words, believe it or not, do inspire me to, keep going and be in a better space when sometimes things may not seem like they're going good, right? But that's life, right? Up and down, up and down. And you just have to roll with the punches or you're going to get knocked out. That's what I say. This picture here that you see is of Debbie Kozak and Mike Breen. Their palm cards placed, it looks like a pizzeria based on what you see there. And if you notice there, someone defaced the face of Debbie Kozak. She's the the candidate for County Legislative District 16. She would be going up against the winner in the primaries between Shanae Williams, right, and the incumbent, Christopher Johnson. That's right. Only the strong survive. Absolutely. If that were not the case with me, it would have been over for me a long time ago. But I wanted to show this because both of them are Republicans. Obviously, whoever, decided to make this, scribble, scrabble, or whatever, all over Debbie Kozak's face, disrespectful, first of all. But they didn't touch Mike Breen. So are they a Republican and they just dislike Republicans, or they just seem to dislike Debbie? I don't know. What do you think there? Just wanted to point that out. That's politics in Yonkers for you. And hopefully at some point we'll be a bit more mature. Candidates night. There was a candidates night. Did any of you guys know about this? This was actually open to the public. It wasn't a Zoom like there was a recent one that occurred, but that one was Zoom. And this one was at the, the Bexac Center over there in Alexander, across from the Old City Jail. Well, the invited guests were Margaret Fountain Coleman, Corazon Pineda Isaac, Mike Spano for mayor's race, the County Legislative District 16, which we were showing Debbie Kozak, Christopher Johnson and Shanae Williams, and Yonkers Council District 1, Shatika Parker, Effie Phillips, and Deanna Robinson. Well, like the last candidates forum, Mayor Mike Spano did not attend. I hear that he has bronchitis. That's what I'm hearing. He didn't attend. Margaret Fountain Coleman was there. Corazon Pineda Isaac was there. And, I thought about this at the last forum because I did actually log on to catch some of it, and I did share some of that. And, I was thinking that if I were not Margaret Coleman, if I was Corazon Pineda Isaac, I would only attend these forums if Mayor Spano was attending. In my eyes, I would be running only up against Mayor Spano and no one else. And so what's happening here is exactly what we said would be happening in the beginning, right? It's Margaret Coleman versus Pineda to split the vote, and they're going to hurt each other. And neither one will be successful as a result. And so when Corazon Pineda Isaac attends these forums and Mike Spano's not there, she's only hurting herself, I believe, and not helping herself, because her goal is to beat Mike Spano, not necessarily beat Margaret Coleman, right? At least that's the way I'd be looking at it. And yes, maybe she feels like, I guess if she's gonna be in the race and she may be splitting votes, maybe I can try to get some votes or get people to see why I'm the better candidate over Margaret Coleman if they're deciding to go with Margaret Coleman. But I don't know. Again, I don't think that's a smart move. I think I would prefer just, if I would tell the organizers, if Mike Spano's not showing up, then I'm not just letting you know ahead of time, not to be disrespectful, but I think that, he should be there. Otherwise, it's not really, worth it to me, because I'm trying to beat Mike Spano. I'm not trying to beat Margaret Coleman. I'm trying to beat Mike Spano. And I'm very much surprised to see that these two ladies, again, are still in the race together, right? I thought that there had been an agreement made that one would get behind the other, depending on, I guess, how well the other did. And, from the jump, Corazon has done better, because she's a councilwoman. She's been in politics 9 years, so she has that advantage there. A lot more people are familiar with her than they are of Margaret Coleman, which is why I've been saying, I haven't seen a lot of her, and I'm not saying that she hasn't been out there. I'm just saying maybe I haven't been looking, but other people have said this also. And so why I said, you need to be a little, out there more because of this. But, I was surprised to see them in there. I would have assumed that Margaret Coleman would have gotten behind Corazon Pineda Isaac and supported her and her, race and against Mike Spano, but that didn't happen, and she's remained in the race. And I'm not knocking her for it. I'm just saying that one of the things that people have said to me was about splitting the votes. The more people in it, the worse, the better it'll be for Mike Spano, right? So I think this is going to give Mike Spano even more an advantage than he already has, because Mike Spano has the advantage of being the incumbent. He's also, and by the way, that's the forum here. Mike, this is them there. Corazon Pineda Isaac and Reverend Margaret Coleman. But Mike Spano has the advantage for many reasons. Another one of those reasons is money. Money, 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 right? Money makes the world go round. Yonkers mayor rakes in $500,000 in bid for fourth term. Who are Spano's biggest donors? This is came out today, June 15, 2023. Actually, I just saw this article literally minutes ago. Yonkers mayor Mike Spano has raised $500,000 so far in his bid for fourth term. And I actually thought he had more money. I already thought he was in the millions. I was told $3 million, but when Yonkers mayor Mike Spano began his run for an unprecedented fourth term this year, he went straight to the deep-pocketed supporters he built in his first 3. Campaign cash poured in. Developers and building contractors wrote big checks, one given a total of $25,000 on a single day. Wow. A local property mogul shelled out $20,000. Firms with city contracts ponied up $4,000 from one law firm, $3,500 from the city's longtime accountants. In total, almost $520,000 piled up in just over 4 months, giving the mayor of New York's third largest city a crushing edge over his rivals in funds for campaign ads, mailers, and staff to tout his record. His competitors include 2 Democrats challenging him in a primary this month and the Republican who will take on the winner in November. Among the benefits of all that fundraising, a TV ad rivals couldn't afford. Celebrating Yonkers' housing surge and the development of the Lionsgate movie studios in the city during Spano's nearly 12 years at the helm. And that's one of the things that I spoke about, I spoke with Margaret Coleman about. She mentioned this to me. She said, did you see the ads that Mike Spano's doing? She said, even my kids or her, the kids are students. I don't know if she's talking about students. They're on YouTube and, there comes an ad and it's Mike Spano. He's got ads on YouTube. He's got ads everywhere on CNN. He's spending money, right? Why is he spending so much money and doing, I don't know. I'm like, that's what I would do if I had the money. I'd want to win, right? He's trying to win. He wants to win. does he feel the pressure to have to do more? I mean, did he do this the last time? I didn't really watch and pay attention to his campaign for the third term, but is that something unusual? Did he not do ads on CNN and YouTube before? And if not, why is he doing it now? There's a story about Yonkers that many don't know. A narrator proclaimed at the start of the ad, Yonkers is booming, and the progress is thanks to Mayor Mike Spano. Spano reported almost $650,000 in his campaign coffer by the middle of May. The two Democrats seeking to unseat him on June 27 are on shoestring budgets in comparison. Councilwoman Corazon Pineda Isaac had about $26,000 on hand. Then after raising $76,000, Yonkers teacher Margaret Fountain Coleman had less than $13,000 in her account. The latest snapshot will come Friday when the three Democrats must report what they've collected and spent in the last 3 weeks. That's one day before the first votes are cast. Right, June 17th, early voting. The start of the 9-day early voting period before the primary. Councilman Anthony Moranti, the Republican running for mayor in November's general election, has no primary opponent and wasn't required to report his campaign finances. His first report is due July 17th. So who are Mike Spano's biggest backers? Based on what the Spano's campaigns have reported so far, no one has given him more this year than Ken Carney, founder and president of Carney Realty and Development Group in Westchester County, town of Somers. Carney donated $25,000 on April 27th in 5 checks from himself, his family, and business, according to the report Spano filed in May with the State Board of Elections. And why is this guy donating so much? What is he doing? Early data analyze. Why? He doesn't live in Yonkers. Early data analyzed by the Journal News LoHUD showed those were Carney's only donation to Spano since his first successful run for mayor in 2011. Oh, I guess this is old. Carney didn't return calls to discuss. Spano's most generous supporters over time appear to be Yonkers Contracting Company, an infrastructure builder that has been in business for almost 80 years and whose recent works in the tri-state area include New Highway. Yeah, and those guys got that big, you see that off over there, 87, and they recently built this building over there and took over. They're doing big business, although they had some issues with some work they were doing for the state. And, they were sued and something happened there. They didn't do the work. They got paid. But speaking of Anthony Moranti, the Republican who has no primary, right? He had an article in Yonkers Tribune, which I was actually surprised to see in the Tribune. Let's take a look at that article. And maybe you guys seen this already. I don't know did I speak about it? I don't remember. I think I missed it. Right. And he's talking about the Yonkers Mayor Mike Spano's brother run lobbying firm Business Before City. It's all in the family. Right. There's significant and very troubling allegations and certainly warrant investigation. It's wrong for elected officials to enrich themselves or others and in any way profiteer from their public service. That would be a serious violation of the public trust. And look, I agree with that for anybody in general, and one of the things that I also agree with on Margaret Coleman is, there needs to be a time also when we talk about, what the problems are here in the city of Yonkers and what the solutions are, right? And not just the talking points, not just saying the same thing everyone says every election, but really, what are the real problems here, right? And what are the real solutions? Like, give us a plan of action. I think if you're going to sell us on yourself, we need a plan of action. You're right. We see this, we understand this, and Freddie Vasquez has been talking about it as well as others. So, but what are the issues, Moranti, and how do you plan on addressing those issues? Let's see, or let's hear that, because like I said earlier, I just want to get things done, right? I don't care who's in City Hall. I don't care who it is, right? I don't care if it's, Spano, Corazon, Margaret, Moranti, or the aliens that crash landed over in Las Vegas very recently, right? It doesn't matter as long as I know that they're going to go in and they're going to really make a change and impact the schools significantly and find the money to make a difference over the course of 4 years, fix our infrastructure, also kind of take a step back on this development, right? And see if we're going too much too fast, right? How much building are we doing? How many people are we bringing into the city of Yonkers? And do we want to be the first, or the number one largest city in the state, if that's what we're going for, right? So we have to kind of pull back a little bit, but again, doesn't matter. So I need to hear, and I think the voters also would like to hear, what are you going to do to address the most important pressing issues that affect the majority of us? Because you can't make everyone happy, but the majority of us. And I think for me and a lot of people, that's the schools. Also, taxes, right? Our infrastructure. I think the developments, so, a lot of these things, I want to start hearing from some of the candidates, start talking about that stuff, right? And I think that Corazon did a good job when she spoke about the New York State Comptroller's report, because I think that's also important. We have to assess the spending habits of the city. Are they mismanaging money? Is there unnecessary and wasteful spending? And if so, where are those areas? And let's start making these cuts, and then let's start allocating those funds that are being currently wasted to where they need to go, right? So I think that's important. I think that needs to be done more so than just continuing to talk about nepotism and corruption, because again, that doesn't get anything done, right? That doesn't get us anywhere. That doesn't give people a feel that you have a plan, that you're going to truly make a difference and change it. We hear it. You've talked about it. We spun it around in circles a million times. Now, what's the plan? What's the plan? That's what I want to hear. All right. And Joan, it seems to be most developments is crammed through on the south and northwest side of the city. What about the east side of Yonkers? Wasn't Yonkers already in trouble for concentrating housing in one particular area? Right, absolutely. And you're talking about the D-Second. That's another point that people have made. I've also talked about it. It seems like a lot of the affordable housing, the ones that they are building, I think it is not, I think I want to say the few. I'm going to say the few that they are building are pretty much maintained to the southwest side, right? And a lot of them have already been there. They would just renovate it, like the cottage, gardens, Mulford, the chicken coops, as we call them. I don't know what the official names are, along Warburton Avenue over there, right? They would just renovate it. They were redone to include microwaves, right? And things like that, and a dishwasher, I think. So they can have what the luxury people have. But they're being concentrated mostly to the southwest side, really, making that area extremely congested. And if you go over by Warburton and Ashburton, it's highly congested throughout the day now, especially in the mornings and afternoons. But throughout the day, it's very congested as people are going from the waterfront area, those apartments there, up Ashburton to the Sawmill to go to wherever they need to go. And they're still building over there at the end of Ashburton, across from or next to the what are those apartment called? I forget, the Avalon, I think, there where the old bus depot is. So when those are done, and those are what, 7 buildings or something like that, I mean, it's gonna be a lot more people. So you got to hope that most of those people are gonna hop on a train, right? But really, what is the probability that that's the case, right? And they're still gonna have cars, and and if they did, they're gonna say, well, we're in Yonkers now, maybe I can get to work on a train, but if I want to travel through Yonkers, I have to get a car, right? I'm not going to be able to just walk or bike it, like they were doing in the city, or take a train. So you're going to see more cars, and it's highly congested. But you're right, they are concentrated on most of the southwest side. Are they going to put any buildings over on the east side? Right. And you see that they were wanting to change the zoning on the east side. And I know Jimmy was fighting that, Jimmy Nolan, county legislator. A lot of people on the east side don't want to see that. They don't. And I get it. I get it. I hear both arguments. Moranti is hiding the fact that his assistant doesn't showing up to work. What a shame. What are you going to do, Anthony? And look, I say the same thing about Tasha Diaz's chief of staff, who recently got married on the steps of City Hall. How do you guys feel about that? Right? I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to feel. I mean, there's so many different things going on there. But, Mayor Spano, married Brenton Bullock and his boyfriend or fiance, and the two men there kissed on the steps of City Hall. They had a whole reception there, and I want to bring that up here in a second. But how do you guys feel about that? Right? And this is a guy that gets paid $93,000 a year of taxpayer money. $93,000, and people are asking, did they get permits? Did they pay for this? I mean, they had a full-on band. They had food. They had seats out there. I mean, it was a whole entire event. Why didn't they just do it at the Castle Royale? I don't understand, right? I would be more concerned with Lou Sweeney working on political campaigns when he should be working on constituents' concerns. Sweeney is the reason that Breen gets called lazy. Nothing gets done to serve the District 5. Breen's staff is double dipping. And yes, and we've seen that photo now that's circulating Facebook and Instagram of Mike Breen in his office knocked out, sleeping. And that's a shame. And that's, what I'm talking about. These are some of the things that have to change. And if that's the case, if you're going to be falling asleep on the job, then maybe you should give it up, right? It's not an attack. I don't want to make it like, oh, Freddie Vasquez is now attacking Mike Breen. It's not Mike Breen. You're asleep at your office in City Hall. I mean, why would people want to vote for you again? And many people have complained that you don't respond. You don't, attend to the needs of many of the constituents in your district. So, I don't get that. How do people, that should be upsetting to people, the taxpayers, especially when you see that your taxes go up 2.9%, right? It should be infuriating when you got these guys getting paid taxpayer money for what? Right? It's kind of a joke. And that's just what I'd say, and so his assistant gets paid, $80,000 a year. And Mike Breen is there sleeping, and he wants you to vote for him again. Mike Breen didn't vote on the budget because of the 2.9% increase. Well, yeah, right? Why would you vote on it and then you're sleeping on the job? You're voting to increase the taxes and so you can sleep. That's not cool, Mike. These people will only be commuters. They will not be a part of our community. That is why the city will lower the parking requirements, which they have. They won't have cars since they won't spend much time here. Yeah, that's true. But it, I don't know. I would like to get a study going, I guess, but there's definitely a lot of cars, that are coming into the city for, even if it's just the Ubers and the city taxis that are coming into the city, they're causing congestion, but there is a lot more congestion. So people definitely do have cars. Maybe they may not drive them to work, but when they go and explore, and then people are bringing these dogs, right? You see, everybody got a dog now. You got two big German Shepherds, one guy. Breen is useless for District 5. Breen is useless for District. And I mean, if he's going to be sleeping, yeah, absolutely. Yes, I asked the question. I don't care if he's married, if he married a statue. I want to know why an assistant to a council member is allowed to use my city hall to have a wedding reception. Did he pay for it? Was alcohol served? Yeah, that's another question that people are asking. Was alcohol served? And I think I want to say yes, based on the way people are asking, almost like in a way, was it served, because they know, yes, it was served. But I don't know. I mean, has anyone ever gotten married on the steps of City Hall before? I mean, I know they've been married inside City Hall, right? They going before a judge and the judge will marry them. But has anyone had a full-out wedding? I mean, on the steps, reception, chairs all out for folks. In fact, let's take a look at it, right? Why don't we just do that? Let's take a look at it. I'll bring it up here. By the way, you guys, food stamps, it just takes me back to my childhood. Where is that video at? The mother there. Oh, here we go. So let's take a look at the video here.
With this ring, I marry you and join my life with yours.
All right. Benton, Benoit have now been joined together in lawful matrimony and have witnessed the same before everyone here today. And in doing so, have pledged themselves one to the other and have so declared by the giving and receiving of rings. I now, in accordance with the authority vested in me by the laws of the great state of New York, hereby announce you. Mr. Brown, husband.
Okay, enough of that. Okay. There goes the music. Snoop Dogg and Pharrell Williams. Setup. There's a reception. People are dressed up. I mean, this is a real formal affair on the steps of City Hall. I mean, Brenton Bullock doing his bit. That paint machine, and I go, Mike Green is doing that wine, is that alcohol? So what do you guys think? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the rules are. You know, can you get married if you pay? Have people gotten married before on the steps of City Hall? You know, I don't know. What's that all about? So, D Nice. Yeah, I mean, look, I hope Brenton's very happy, but he needs to get to work on time. The man's making $93,000 a year over as Tasha Diaz is chief of staff, right? So, and that's Anthony Moranti. I want to also talk about another, and yeah, look, this guy right here, man. You know, my wife. You know, I'm trying to woosah. I'm very grateful for my wife. Retire Breen, right? So Retire Breen. You guys saw the Breen on his asleep, and so this is Ron Matten, and Ron Matten is a Republican who wanted to challenge Breen. Didn't work out for him, but there's a gentleman by the name of Ron Shute. Am I saying that correctly? But this is the Retire Breen machine. This is the pickup truck owned by Ron Matten, and it says Retire Breen, as you can see, and he rolls around with this. He's made people pissed off. You know, I believe his wife was now why do they go after the wives? I mean, what's up with that? I mean, you know, it's a pattern. They're going after Ron Matten's wife. His wife was being harassed. You know, I was sent a picture actually, and I'm not going to post it, but I'm going to tell you what it was. It was of a man, right? And the man was raising his hand to slap a woman who was curled up in a corner. And so what they had done was they took Ron's head and put it on the man, and they put, I'm assuming, I don't think it was his wife. I think it was just the woman happened to be Asian. So they took Ron's head and put it on that man about to slap this small Asian woman that was curled up, and they're implying that Ron, has some, was beating his wife or something. I didn't post it. Again, these, there's things that I get that I don't always post. There's a lot of things I get that I don't post, and I don't understand why that's the way things are done, and that's very disgusting. And we all should call for an end to that. We really should. But this is the Breen machine, retired Breen machine. And a lot of that is stemming from this truck, this pickup truck and this sign. And so now they're going after Ron Matten's wife. And his wife is not even, my wife, kind of people more see her. She's more visible. But his wife is very low key. She's very, very low key. Right. And it's just not cool, man. I don't think that's cool. Breen didn't even win the 5th council district in the assembly race against Nader Sage. Everyone hates him. Moranti is done, as is Ron, and Ron go away. You know who those guys are. These guys enjoy getting their teeth kicked in. It's some weird stuff. Patty ex-lovers, old hot dog truck. Okay, and the people that make these comments are people that are involved in politics. They might be ward leaders. They might be district leaders. They might be, involved somehow with the Yonkers Democratic Party. Right. And even Republicans, because there's some guys in the Republican Party that do some of this stuff. But, they're kind of cool with the people in the Democratic Party, and this is how they conduct themselves. And it's very disgusting. It's just very disgusting. Yonkers City Council Minority Leader Mike Breen's wife, Patty Breen, purported to have demanded a payoff should her husband fail to win election to the office of New York Assembly. And that's what it was saying. And, they were saying that his whole flip-flopping, Mike Breen's whole flip-flop that he did in regards to the term limits was all about trying to shake down the administration, basically shake down the Spanos, Mike Spano. And so you talk about extortion, huh? There you go. This is, and I've heard this, from several sources, and I've been hearing this for a while. Mike Breen was saying he was against the term extension. He believed that there should be term limits. He went on Yonkers Voice, and just said that. He said, I believe in term limits. Yet and still, when it came time to vote on the term extension, he voted yes, in favor of term extensions. And then he gave this whole speech contradicting himself completely. How is it that this man can continue being elected? Like, how do you just blatantly contradict yourself? It's obvious the game that you're playing. And they just continue to get elected. I don't understand it. Does it have something to do with Zahi Jeris maybe stealing the elections? Drinks and music at that is a party. That was definitely a party. You saw Ada Medina shaking it up. I see champagne flutes. This is the first time I have seen this. Yeah, it's crazy. Breen voted for a 6% plus tax increase at one point. All of a sudden, he has a problem with 2.9%. Well, he has an election, right? And he knows that it's going to get passed anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's one of those throwaway free throw votes, free throw, where I can make it look like I'm with my constituents because I know my vote's not going to matter. So I get to look good, right? A lot of them have done that. So to Breen's credit, he's not the only one that's done that. And so, yeah, so that's Mike Breen there. There's a lot of stuff here, but I don't want to go through all those comments really. What else did I have here? Ron Schutte. Let's talk about Ron Schutte. This is the guy that's actually challenging Breen, right? The guy seems like he's more of a legitimate elected politician, like a legitimate guy. He seems, I hear he's very smart. He's a businessman and he's done well for himself in the private sector. And so that's what you want. You want a person that's done something for themselves in the private sector. They're not coming in here to take taxpayer money and fall asleep in their office, right? And I don't know Ron, right? But I get that vibe from him. Ron, and I don't know if I'm saying your name right, last name. Ron Schutte, a 40-year resident of Yonkers, will be challenging Mike Breen in June 27th Republican primary election to determine the Republican candidate for the Yonkers 5th District Council seat. Mike Breen is the current 5th District Councilman and Republican endorsed candidate. Right, they endorsing this guy. So Ron, I guess Mike Breen will be having a primary. Ron is a U.S. Army veteran, captain, military intelligence. So there you go. The guy's a smart guy. Captain, military intelligence, right? Not a failed hot dog business. Right, selling wieners. But he was right. He has owned several manufacturing businesses and commercial real estate properties. Currently, he is the president of an inner city high school in the South Bronx. Look at this. So this man comes with some experience in education. So you hear this, folks? Let's get to know these people before you make your vote. This guy sounds good. I wish I could vote for him. Right? I wish I could vote for him. Currently, he is president, again, of an inner city high school in the South Bronx. That's value that we can have on the council. He can bring some experience, some ideas, a plan to maybe make the schools here better, improve them. Ron holds a BA from Fordham University and an MBA from Campbell University and an EDS from Seton Hall University. Look at this guy. I mean, his credentials right there alone blow away Mike Breen. Blow away Mike Breen. He is currently the Republican 10th Ward co-leader and a longtime member of the Northeast Yonkers Republican Club. Ron resides in Crestwood section of Yonkers with his family and is an active member of the community and the Annunciation of Our Lady of Fatima. Did I say that right? A church. This is the first time that Ron will be running for political office. His decision to run was prompted by his opponents casting his vote in favor of extending term limits. Ron believes that the voters should determine how long elected officials should serve, not the politicians. Exactly. I agree. Why are we allowing elected officials? Let me vote to extend my job. Especially when we're doing such a crappy job, but we're going to vote to extend our, position. That's crazy. That's crazy. Ron believes that the voters should determine how long. I read that. Ignoring the fact that the people of Yonkers voted twice to limit city elected officials to 2 4-year terms is outrageous and acting the tactics found in Primaries dictatorship countries. In addition to his opposition to the extension of term limits, he will address several neglected infrastructure issues in the 5th District and address quality of life issues dealing with everything from safety and security to maintenance and preservation of parks and recreation areas. So I like this guy. If you're in the 5th District, you had to be insane not to vote for this guy. And you better vote in the primary. This is important. June 27th, early voting, June 17th. Are you hearing me? Folks in the 5th district, wake up. Wake up. Mike Breen's asleep. He's asleep at the helm. The boat's going to hit the harbor. It's going to crash into the dock. Everybody clear the way. Clear the way. This District 5 deserves better. We need to vote Breen out. I mean, this guy's, he sounds good. I mean, but it doesn't matter. If Breen loses the election, he wins because he will get an even better job with the city doing even less. Well, now we start to document these, patterns, right? Let's start documenting them. Let's start calling them out first, and then we document it, just like we said. So we must know what we're talking about. By the way, I hear that the Mike Hanley, a CSLA president, and the and Keith Olson, the PBA president, will be endorsing Mike Spano next week, I believe. Is that the information that I get? Next Friday at 1:30, they will be giving their endorsement to Mike Spano. Just thought I'd put that out there, let you guys know, right? So, and they're saying, well, that's what he's gonna do. He's looking for his payoff, right? He's looking. Mike Hanley is looking for his payoff. So he's gonna be endorsing Spano, for some payoff. So we call it ahead of time. We see if it happens. We document it. We say, look, see, we were right, right? It's exactly what we're saying here. So yeah, folks, Ron Schutte, I think, from what I've read there, he's a much better candidate. District 5 does deserve better. How about the Yonkers Republican Executive Committee not even interviewing Ron for this race? They hushed up at the request of Mike Breen, Mikey the Weenie Breen, and Fatty. Oh, come on. I don't like the fat joke. Patty Breen. They wanted to make it like there was no other viable candidate just so Mike can keep doing everything that the administration's request and have some way to make money. Lord knows Mike has never made a dollar in the private sector. The Republican Party in this city is dead. And what do you think about that? Is the Republican Party in the city of Yonkers dead? The fact that leadership of the party can back Breen after his blatant betrayal is laughable. Moranti is delusional enough to think he will win mayor. Whatever wins District 5, and then he will appoint Shitty to deputy mayor and appoint Ron Weasley to District 5. I'm gonna really keep with these people here. The people that write like that, that's this guy Brian Harrod. Honestly, folks, I'm gonna ask you folks, if you don't mind, if you can, along with me, start to get these people at it. Like, let's start calling them out. Let's start saying, listen, you're a waste of space. Stop talking. We don't want to see you anymore. They're disruptive to the process. They're really just just disgusting and disruptive to the process. And if we want to move forward, without the nonsense and the disgusting, attacks on family, and kids and wives and this, we have to start with these individuals here. We have to point them out. And this is what they do. And these individuals are paid by, in my strong opinion, by Zahi Jerris. I know his son gets on the Yonkers Newswire with Brian Harrod. And that's Frankie Jerris, who was hired as the secretary of the Human Rights Commission. They gave him a paid job, right? His dad has a $200,000 pool, got a Scarsdale address, and you would think they'd offer that to Hector Santiago, who's been on the Human Rights Commission for a while, who's done a lot of positive things here in the city of Yonkers. Frankie Jerris hasn't done a damn thing. A damn thing aside attack people using fake page, come up with strategies to, steal elections and defeat people. And so I'm going to keep calling these guys out, right? That's what I'm going to do. Folks, I think if you're in District 5, you have to vote for Ron Schutte. That is the better candidate. Breen, unfortunately, has not done anything. He's been in politics for God knows how long. He's asleep in his office. I mean, Ron Schutte runs circles around him. Breen is only interested in enriching himself and his family. The Spanos abandoned him for Nader, Sage, but Breen went crawling back on his hands and knees. Nick got him to change the vote on the term limits. Neville, Megan, and Patrick got promotions. Breen only cares about himself. If he didn't have an opponent, he'd be hiding out with his feet in the sand at our expense. Someone wrote incorrect, Mr. Man, as usual. So yeah, and I mean that stuff happened. There were those promotions, he did flip-flop on the term extension. We all saw it. It was on, the Yonkers Voice. I mean, he blatantly contradicted himself on an important vote, on a very important vote. And the fact that they play the game with important votes that really matter to the people, and for them it's like, whatever. I believe in term limits. Oh, I'm going to vote for term extensions because, I believe that, the people should have a right to vote for whoever they want. That's the rationale, right? That's the rationale, as if it doesn't matter. But it doesn't matter. Breen losing an election. Yeah, he'll get a job right. Prager the job right. Michael Sabatino, a la Michael Sabatino. Yes, the Republican Party is dead. They did not even make a show of having anyone challenge the useless Tasha Diaz in the 3rd District. Absolutely, because Tasha is protected by Zahi Jeris. Again, this is why I say, folks, it's important to discuss these individuals and get them out of politics. You want politics to change, you have to talk about Zahi Jeris. You have to talk about his son, Frankie Jeris. They play very active roles in these elections. Zahi Jeris and Frankie Jeris are managing Tasha Diaz's campaign. Frank Jeris is listed as her campaign manager. So it's important that we acknowledge that. It's not about me being personal with them. Sure, the man is suing me for $1 million. I get that, right? Why? Because I'm exposing this. Exactly. He has his hands in the Westchester County Board of Elections. That concerns me. I almost don't think that any one of, the candidates other than the ones Zahi Jeris is supporting have a chance because he's controlling the outcomes many times. Ballot harvesting. We've seen it happen from his sister finding 18 ballots to his admitted, of signing names or signing on absentee ballots. Like, this guy's committed election fraud. He's pled guilty to committing election fraud. And he's still involved. And so it's important that we acknowledge that because that makes a huge difference in the outcomes of these elections. And that is why Tasha Diaz does not have a Republican challenger. Remember, Zahi Jeris was the chair of the Republican Party at one point before he went to jail, before he actually was asked to step down by Phil Amacone once the feds started coming around. Remember that, right? Remember that. And now he's back. And so I'm going to come and get him because you want to, disrupt our election process, our political process here, do it in the most disgusting ways, utilize individuals to create pages and attack people's wives and families. Right? And then you got the nerve to go around telling people that it's me, it's Freddie Vasquez. But you don't tell the Jordanian community how much negativity you bring, how much shame and dishonor you bring to their community. Some of them know, many know. Some make money with you, so they're not going to speak on it. But you do. And you've caused them the problems. You have. So, it's important that we get that individual up out of politics because he has, again, and they do. Board of Election needs to be investigated by an outside agency, 1,000%. Folks, I'm telling you, if you expect to have fair elections here in Westchester County and in the city of Yonkers, you must call for an investigation into that Board of Elections. It's a must. There's no other way around it. It's a must. You have to get that Board of Elections investigated. Zahi Jeris has his tentacles, as I said, all over that place. And he's expanding out to other Westchester County towns. He wants to control county politics, and it's important that we expose that. It really is. And it's not going to change until that man is out and he gets this disgusting, way of doing business. I mean, look what he did to his own cousin, right? Look what he did to Mike Cater. He'll throw his own cousin under the bus, right? And the whole community, Jordanian community, is divided because of this man, right? And he has a lot of, So, folks, that's what it is. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. He's behind the elected officials that we really just are tired of. I mean, he's behind Tasha Diaz. He's behind Shanae Williams. He's behind the city council president who introduced the term limit extension. Right, so it's time. We definitely want to get Tasha Diaz out of there. I mean, look how she speaks to people. And look at her eyes every time you see her, folks. I mean, in my opinion, that girl is flying high as a kite. Check her eyes out. Look at her eyes. Check out in the pictures. I'm telling you, that's another thing that needs to get out of the politics here.
Ready.
I told you I wasn't going to go anywhere. I mean, it would just, give me a lot more time to just do more investigating, because I want to go check out what's going on over at the Human Rights Commission. I want to get some information on that new secretary position. How did they decide to hire this guy? Who makes the hiring decisions? What's the pay? What's the hours? Is he at work? I think that's important, right? If we're paying for him, the taxpayers, I think it's important that we find out if Zahi Jerris is actually showing up to work. Oh, I'm sorry, Frank Jerris is showing up to work, or is it a no-show job? So now that I got a little bit of time before we get back in the swing of things, I'm going to go find out. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics. Have a beautiful night. We need to cut wasteful spending. That's wasteful spending. The man doesn't deserve it. His dad corrupted politics here in the city of Yonkers. They're corrupting politics now, and the kid gets a job. Tasha Diaz's campaign manager, Shanae Williams' campaign manager, gets a job as a secretary of the Human Rights Commission.
Ready. Wins.
What are the hours? When is he supposed to be at work? Let's find out. I am Freddie Vasquez. Oh, I'm going to find out. I'm not going to go tomorrow, but they're going to expect me. I'm going to go when they don't expect me. But I'll find out by next week what are the hours, when he's supposed to show into work, and let's make sure he's at work. Hey, we're the bosses. We're the taxpayers.
Ready. Wins. Fatality.
You want to worry about me, I'm going to worry about you.
Ready. Wins. Fatality.
Man is responsible for this.
I was raised in housing. I know you have a lot of women that work in your office. I'm hoping that this is not true.
But I am the bad guy.
Yes, you are. You're the pedophile. And by the way, why do you allow her to get away with it, Sam? Come on, man.
I'm hoping that this is...
She tried to publicly shame you, embarrass you, and all that. Right there on the spot in a meeting. Like, why you ain't doing her like you do me, man? Come on, Sam. Treat me better, guy. I'll be better with you.
Ready. Wins.
Got a deal?
Fatality.
Shake on it. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Vote for Ron Chute in District 5. The man, in every sense of the, in every way possible, is so much of a better candidate. I mean, from his level of education to his experiences to his, success in life. He looks like he will get things done. I like the fact that he has experience with urban schools, as he is the president of an inner city school out in the South Bronx. Like, we need people with those type of experiences. I mean, that's the vote. That's the choice. District 5. Make the smart choice. Vote Ron Chute.
Ready. Wins. Fatality.